So last time you guys voted to see Zarya for the next VOD that I talked about, and here we are watching Effect play Zarya. Again, a little bit of Effect. I really like this guy, very offensive, and overall a strong player. If you have any other certain character that you want me to talk about though in the future, please do leave that down in the comment section down below. Whoever gets the most comments, be it a character or a player, I will make a video about them next. So there we go with that. Now, as far as the actual gameplay itself, the important stuff, we started off by seeing, Effect getting some free poke on the enemy spawn with the alt fire, otherwise known as the grenade. And as well with that, taking some free poke from the opponents. So, of course, poking at the spawn with the grenade gives you free ult charge, why not? But often you can just stand in front and people will shoot you even though they don't have a chance of killing you at far range, which is a good idea to do. It essentially just gives you free charge and makes so that you can win the first team fight quite easily. So you probably want to do that. As well, what we often see at this beginning part is that we're bubbling the Rein and telling him to drop the shield for just a second, especially early on. We gain charge from that, and we can kill most people. And this is generally, again, very effective. You do have to be in team chat, though. You do have to tell people you're going to be doing this. But yeah, you can definitely go for that to get some really easy, cheesy early charge. Now, of course, if you know that the enemy team has a lot of flankers, maybe save your shield, but in most cases it will be pretty fine, especially in the metas that we're in. Right here, we see us focusing on high ground at Mercy. That's something you want to make sure you're doing. A lot of the times people just kind of forget that you have to still focus the important characters as a tank. You got to take them out first, and Mercy, since she's so strong right now, yeah, do go for that. As far as, I guess, some other stuff we saw earlier on, when we have max charge, you want to make sure that you're going in, because when you teamfight with 100% charge, you can generally beat any other tank quite easily. With that said, please do call out to your team that you're going in. We saw that right near the beginning. We got a really early 100% charge, and we called out that we're going in. We went in there, and we stomped them. Unfortunately, died a little bit later, but definitely go for that. But make sure to call that out to your team, because people don't really notice when you have high ult charge. And not ult charge, high just charge. So that's something you do have to put in the voice chat for people to really think about. Now, as far as Mercy, again, a character that's very hard to deal with right now, what you can actually do is ult to where Mercy is going to res somebody, or where Mercy already is resing somebody, and you can kill the Mercy that's ulting, plus whoever they just resed. Yeah, that's a good combo to go for. Make sure to actually do that. Ulting a lot of people can be good, but especially trying to get a Mercy in that ult and baiting a Mercy into a dead body, that's probably what you want to try to go for. Right here we saw that the opponents were probably going to go for a bit of CC, probably go for a Reinhardt ult, something like that. And what we did for ourselves when we saw the CC coming was to shield the other tank and then hard push. We got an Ana ult, and we got a little bit of extra damage. I think we got our own Rein ult. But generally, if you see that, the opponents are going to use all their CC on your front line, if you can protect yourself and the other frontline member, you can push back the opponents and then go in from there when all their ults are gone. So yeah, you can try to do that. As far as tracking, we're seeing a lot of really good tracking by this player. He's super good. If you actually play a lot of Zarya, you can also play a decent amount of Soldier and Tracer. So if you want to get good at this character, but you get kind of bored at time to time, and you just want to learn how to aim more, maybe play one of those characters. We see this player Effect playing all those characters, so obviously it does work pretty well. And if you're just a DPS main, I'd say Zarya does work pretty well as, the tank to play, because she's much more DPS, especially if you go quite offensive. I guess the problem about Zarya is that you can kind of die quicker than other tanks, and of course it's not as bad anymore though. It used to be very bad because you die all the time, but now with the Mercy res, you can go a little bit more offensive, go for more damage, and we see ourselves dying a few times, but then we can be resed, come back to life, shield ourselves, shield somebody else, and go on from there. Of course, the res gets a little bit of a nerf in the next patch, but still, yeah, it's pretty good. Right here we can also see that you can often push up a lot more than you think you can. Right now, we're doing something great as well, which is that we're getting high ground, which essentially just lets us, shield whoever we really want to. But really, you do want to make sure that, if you can push up a little bit, try to go for that. Of course, you want to keep your not your tanks, you want to keep your supports pretty far behind so they don't get picked. But you can generally go a little bit further than you normally think. We got that actually for quite a while right here. We had the high ground, we had a choke point, it was really good. Unfortunately, we finally got picked off. That's something that does generally happen, but we can really just see how much time we got from there, which was nice. This is also a game with Reinhardt versus Reinhardt, and as we often see, Effect is walking through the enemy Reinhardt shield, shielding his own Reinhardt, and then just shooting the enemy Reinhardt. Kind of similar to what a lot of Reaper players do. You can be pretty safe with your shift on, and yeah, it's overall a pretty safe strategy. You can get a lot of charge because people will start to shoot you quite a bit, and you can often get Ryan to like half HP and force him to back out. So, especially on defense, that's something you might want to kind of go for. as far as something else, I guess right now, we're going to see ourselves waiting in the back line and not doing way too much for a little while. We're poking, we're trying to get a little bit of damage, doing everything like that, but often you kind of want to wait in the back line until your other tank is ready to go in, ready to get some damage, and then you jump in yourself. We see here again, us getting the Mercy, and something we saw right there was actually focusing the Mercy with our primary fire and then finishing it off with the alt fire into a melee. That's a really good combo to go for that. But yeah, we really saw ourselves waiting for a second and then finally went in when we were ready, when we could get a pick, and when our Reinhardt was ready as well. You normally don't want to go in by yourself, and you normally want to wait kind of near your back line so you can protect them and then push up with your other tank. If your other tank is always ready to go, you can actually stay pretty close to the front line, get a lot of poke in, get a lot of damage in, and then come back when all your shields are down, wait about 5 to 6 seconds, and then rinse, repeat, really forever. Again, though, I want to say that when you're ulting, if you want to get higher DPS, do just go for your primary fire, try to aim towards the most priority target, in this case, probably the Mercy, and finish it off from there. Don't just keep spamming your alternate fire, because honestly, in a lot of cases, it doesn't kill quite as fast. Maybe you'll be able to hit more people, but it won't really be able to kill as fast. Alright, here we finish people off with a really cool combo, of course. You are primary firing them until they're almost really low HP. You alt fire, and then you melee. And that works pretty well. But yeah, again, primary firing will kill people a little bit faster, while I guess alt firing gives you a lot more team-based DPS or AoE DPS. So, you kind of have to see what you can get. If you know that you aren't going to really be able to, kill somebody because a lot of people are in the way, maybe go for your alt fire. But if you see that Mercy and you see that you have the chance to kill her, go for the primary fire. As well, if you get pushed away a little bit, you can alt fire. We finished it off right here, though. Just kill them all, keep pushing them back, and overall, quite a good defense. Not the most, stable defense, but it's a very good one because we kept pushing them back. We kept doing a lot of really good plays. And I feel like that defense felt a lot more like an offense to most players. Rather than just spamming in the backline for the most part, we moved up a little bit. So yeah, you can try to go for that. Here we are on offense ourselves. And something we saw at the very beginning of this was actually, we have 40% charge right now. There was a Junkrat trap on the ground. Always make sure to look for spawn camp shenanigans as Zarya and get free charge from them. This could be a lot of different things. As we see later on, there's like Symmetra, there's, Torv, there's a lot of other characters that can honestly just give you a lot of charge at the spawn or, anywhere nearby. Later on, we actually see a little bit of cheese with some Symmetra turrets all over the place, but we shield ourselves and we shield the Reinhardt and we get like 80% ult charge. Not ult, just power charge. I don't know what to call that. But yeah, we get a lot of that. So, try to actually, I guess, pay attention that way and call that out to your teammates as well, because most teammates won't really do that much unless you call it out. When your shields are down, as we're seeing in a second, you kind of want to just poke, but right now, you see our shields are up. We can go in, we can get some damage, but then again, we used our shields, we should probably back off and away from there. Something we see right here that we don't see way too much is actually a ganking Zarya, or flanking Zarya. If you do have a lot of damage up, if you have like a super high amount of charge, you can go for that. You can initiate around the side and kill really any of the other DPS in the game quite easily. If you do have high charge and they can't do much against you, they can't CC you, they can't one-shot you, you can go in from there and get a lot of really easy 1v1 picks. So, it's something we don't see way too often, but something that you definitely can go for, especially as you're more of an off tank than a main tank. Speaking of that though, if you are playing on offense or defense, please do play with another main tank or an anchor tank. Play with someone like Arissa, maybe Winston, or of course Reinhardt, which is one of my favorites, because really you just need another tank that your team can play behind. They can't really play behind you. While you can protect them a bit, it's just not something that you can really stand behind, wait behind, poke behind. With Zarya, you essentially go in, attack for a few seconds, and then go back. While with all these other tanks, you can just stall for a little bit, but maybe you can't go in as well. So when you mix those, it works out well, but when you go, for example, Zarya Roadhog, it doesn't work out that well because your teammates can't really hide behind anything. It's kind of hard. Sometimes it works on King of the Hill, but on maps like this, probably not the best thing to do in the world. Now, on offense, compared to defense, we're actually seeing a lot more prioritization on shielding our Tracers, our Genjis, while on defense, we actually saw a lot of shields on our own Reinhardt. On offense, we're seeing a bit, but not nearly as much, because generally on defense, people are going to go for a lot more poke. People are going to just try to slowly push it out. against you. But if you're on offense, you want to make sure that your flankers can get to the backline, can get free damage, and then get out without dying. So that's kind of why we're focusing on different characters. And generally, if we can just put out a lot of damage in front of us, if our supports are hiding right behind us, we don't have to worry about them way too much. If there's a lot of flankers going after them, of course, you do have to turn around, you do have to save your shields for them. But otherwise, you don't really have to do it way too much. Now, some of the final things, something that I'm hearing a lot in this game, if you really need to initiate, and if you seem that you never are able to, get a bot that's from Super Smash Bros. That just says, go! Because that's what we're hearing for like the last 5 minutes. And, you know, it actually kind of worked. Everyone kept going in, so maybe that could work for you. Maybe that could be your way to get to Grandmaster. But as far as a final actual tip, I guess, you can often actually push in front of your teammates a little bit when the enemy team is split and get some free ult charge. That's what we saw right here. We also got a little bit of free charge. And generally what you kind of want to remember is that a lot of people are just going to randomly shoot you when they don't really need to. And you want to put yourself in that situation when you have your shield up, and then get out of that situation when your shield's down. And yeah, you kind of have to actually put a little bit of mental effort into doing that, but it's definitely worth your time to actually go for that. Anyways, as always, guys, that's all I'm going to say about this video. I feel like Effect is very good at like pretty much any character you see him playing on. But again, Zarya, a pretty good player as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below any character you want me to talk about in the next video, or maybe subscribe if you want to see any videos like this in the future. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'd like to thank Gilded.gg for sponsoring this video, and mainly helping me a lot through the adpocalypse. So, Gilded itself is a website focused on finding, founding, and expanding your gaming team with relative ease. You can schedule events, recruit new members, build team comps, and find teams to scrim with and to scrim against. Best of all to you guys, it's free. You can get started yourself with the link in the description below, and if you sign up by November 10th, you'll be entered into a chance to win a $50 Blizzard gift card. So, maybe I'll see you there.